With SUV sales still riding high, wagons are having to work hard to stay in the game.
So, Renault is playing to its strengths with this, the Megane GT, which has been tweaked by its Renault Sport Performance division, the producer of so many of its popular hot hatches.
I think wagons are hard to style, but this French car maker does styling well, and I think that it's a beautiful design. It looks good, it's sporty, it's athletic. It does a job in that respect.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's Renault playing to their strengths. Again, you know, like I said, for its, you know, sportiness is really where it's really hit the mark in Australia. You know, the Megane hot hatch for years has been a favourite. The Clio RS has been a favourite. So, you know, it makes sense for them to go down this sportier line, particularly with this new Megane wagon. Like I said, I think it actually, yeah, it looks pretty cool. But what do you think about the performance? Because that's really, you know, it's got to live up to that GT badge. 1.6 litre turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. The rest of the Megane wagon range gets a 1.2, so 151 kilowatts, 280 newton meters. Has it got enough go for you?
Look, it's not a hot hatch, but it does go well. I think it's probably the best Renault I've driven. I'd go as far to say that, you know, the 7-speed dual clutch auto does the job. Sometimes it feels like it holds the gears a bit too much, but other than that, it goes fairly well. Sports mode as well, I'd be using the paddle shifters there, but I think it's still good.
I think it goes all right, but how about actually have a go?
Okay.
I'm a fan of the way the Megane wagons drive. I've driven both this GT and the lower spec with the less powerful engine. I think they're both pretty good. What I like about them, you know, we've both got kids and we both live in the big city, so you want a small car but with a bit of practicality, and I think having that wagon, for me anyway, I quite like having a slightly bigger boot. You can chuck more stuff in there and just gives you that little bit more flexibility.
Yeah, there's definitely perks to having a wagon, but what I also like here is the interior. It's just styled so nicely. These seats are pretty cool, sport looking seats, leather. I like the mood lighting as well. Like Renault's done that really well, and interestingly, if you do change to sports mode, the mood lighting or other modes changes. So they've thought of a lot of things, but there are a few quirks.
Yeah, look, this tablet style screen here for the infotainment system, it does most things, and you know, while it's cool in a lot of ways and it's fairly intuitive to use, I found, a lot of it I just find a little bit frustrating in terms of you've got to actually take your eyes off the road to adjust certain settings. You know, like adjusting the radio is actually probably a little bit more complicated than you really want. Yeah,
and especially if you've got things like Apple CarPlay or Android Auto available, this may look a bit more second rate to some tech lovers.
Yeah, maybe, but I think the key for me though is the price. You know, it's just over $42,000, so it's not a cheap little car.
Yeah, and on top of that, you know, we've got all the goodies. We've got a panoramic sunroof, we've got the Bose stereo, so that bumps the price up significantly higher. Value for money for you?
Yeah, look, it's a tricky one because this is such a niche market. You know, it's not only is it it's almost a niche within a niche. You know, you're talking about a compact wagon and then a sporty compact wagon. There are a few around. There's the Skoda Octavia RS, Subaru Levorg. It's kind of a weird one for me. I like a sporty wagon. I think there's something about a fast wagon, particularly like you say, in this era of SUVs. I'm really, you know, I just love that you can have the practicality without having to go up high. You know, you can still have that sportiness, that, you know, enjoyment to actually drive the car. But I don't know, for me, you know, I like it. Would I necessarily buy it? Look, it'll be on the short list. Let's put it that way.
I think as long as it's got a good safety package, it's something I'd consider.
Yeah.